Yeah, so we've got some ghosts moving into the pathetic defense that has been set up at the entrance to the natural of the opposing team, as well as a bunch of battle cruisers being made on this side. The upgrades are 1-1 and 0. We've also got one Ling acting as a retard magnet, bringing over all the stalkers, and one suicidal ghost coming in to target, well, itself. Unfortunately, it gets scanned and then
not even at the right place. It just gets scanned.
Yeah. Of course, then we've got two very poor scans. I don't know why they didn't stim and chase. I mean, they don't have stim. I guess it makes sense it doesn't have stim because
the other guy forgot warp gate.
The other guy forgot warp gate. This guy forgot stim, but they both made battle cruisers and stalkers and stuff.
Yeah, but you know, forgetting warp gate is actually something that's acceptable. There could be multiple reasons why you forget warp gate. You could be playing a very Brood War style, like when we decide not to trash, they can decide that we're gonna play warp gate, and honestly, that's kind of the same level of handicap. You could just be going for a lot of air units, which I know this guy isn't. You could just be going for Blink Stalkers, at which point the mobility from Blink, it sort of offsets the Warp Gate requirements, unless of course you're trashing. Yes, Warp Gate is nice to have, but it's not really required in a lot of situations. I guess it does shorten down the build time as well, but
if you keep up your macro production, then yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like you save 10 seconds on production, and you can make them wherever you need.
Yeah.
It's nice, but you know, if you're good, it makes a difference. But it's like at this level, it doesn't make much of a difference. So we've got two engagements going on right now. We've got the battle cruisers finally moving out, breaking down the bases that are unused again, as well as the ultralists and the mutalists and the other small ultralists attacking the Protoss expansion.
No, it's not small ultralisks. It's big Lings.
Sorry, I only lie in the game. So we've got the
first. You only lie in the game, or you lie only in the game?
I don't know. So anyway, we've got a nuke being aimed right at the battle cruisers, or where they should be if they don't fly away like a dickhead. And we've got some EMPs on the battle cruisers as well. Maybe this nuke will land. Will it land? Yes, it does land. And unfortunately, they're so freaking tanky, they only get half of their health wiped out, which is ridiculous considering how much health would be wiped out of a Protoss unit. Anyway,
I wouldn't be surprised if the nukes actually deal extra damage against shields.
I don't know, maybe.
I know nukes
Ultralisk tearing up a base in the purple and teal naturals, along with breaking down base, a few supply depots, and some other structures. I forgot. What else have we got? Now everybody's kind of retreating. The Ultralists are running back to, I guess, regenerate or get transfused. I don't know.
They just didn't want to be in a place full of battle cruisers.
That too. So anyway, we've got a bunch of battle cruisers here targeting down Red's expansion at the goal that's not being really mined. Which again, I reiterate, is pointless. If it's being used, then yes, you're gonna disrupt them quite a bit. But if it's not, it's like whatever.
To say the slow ass shit over here, the Ultralisks did go back there, but let's take a look at the mines over here. And capital class ships have no place. Like counter boosters.
That was a very nice
in front of mines.
It's a very nice explosion. So of course, whatever is left of the battle cruisers are all in tiny pieces. It's barely, you know, on flames with flames.
Can we put that back up to normal speed? Or
fast? We've also got the Ultralists back up in the base, getting slowed down. I don't really think that slow affects Ultralists, and we've got Senses.
Yeah, I don't think it does, because this frenzy abilities, it makes it immune to snare, stunt, mind controls, and movement altering effects, which I believe includes slows, and it's not just things like fungo growth.
So if the mothership core warps back to the base, which is currently 5
to do absolutely nothing to the Ultralisk, because it does a whole whopping 8 damage to these things that have 6 armor.
Yep.
But the guys with guns came back, and then they went away.
Oh, basically. The Ultralisk would have been better dealt with by using the Yamato cannon, but I don't think the person really wanted to if they had it. I don't even know if it's researched.
You know, I'm actually questioning that, because it does take a while to charge up, and I feel like the guys with guns are going to be dead either way. They can't run away because they don't have stim. And definitely can't dish out enough DPS. I don't even think Purple has any upgrades for his bio.
Very true. We've also still got the battle cruisers being made despite the lack of income, which is a terrible idea. Those things are so expensive for so little. We've also got the red serious try-hard army being I don't know, grouped here, just so the dicking around with the ghosts can continue.
Because yes, the serious try-hard army. I actually have transitioned into calling this the serious try-hard army instead of the troll army, because there has been a game where I was playing troll with guys with guns and medevacs, and then I upped the serious level with Missile Man. After that, I was like, really don't want to lose a game that took this long, so then I brought in the tanks. And after that, I was like, well, let's add some mines because there's too many air units. And after that, the game dragged on long enough that I really didn't want to lose, and I eliminated everything but the mines.
Needless to say, we didn't lose. So of course we've got the Broodlords and Cal Bruisers against the rest of this army, but you know, they don't really have the DPS to deal with this ball of crap. So I've got the mines, which can only get off a few detonators, sadly. It's not as spectacular as it could have been.
Shield didn't want to put up with the bullshit, but the Cure Potter sort of acted as a retard magnet.
Fantastic bits everywhere, mostly falling into that huge crevasse.
Yep.
Too bad the crystals were very pretty now that the battle cruiser fits in. Of course, there were only like 2 battle cruisers left, and they got Cure Potters down. Now we've also got 2 more which are poorly rallied. I think at this time Teal left the game because, you know, why would you not? And the Cure Potters catch up. Mine's desperately trying to catch up. At this point, Azrael decided that we should probably have mines with sort of basically air only. Of course, that's a lot of turrets, even for a bunch of Cure Potters, so they ran away.
Yeah. The funny thing is, there has been a lot of Broodlords created. At this point, I was like, well, I was forced to make Cure Potters, so might as well get the Broodlords along with that, because Cure Potters, I would say they're kind of slow, so they can't really keep up with anything else. And also, they do transition nicely into the Broodlords, considering how they do make Broodlords.
Also, they show upgrades. Kind of silly, but you know that, fun fact, you cannot yoink a Broodlord.
You cannot yoink Vulturisks.
Yeah, but however, you can yoink a mothership.
Yes. The mothership is supposed to be kilometers in length, and I guess yoinked by a tiny bug.
They don't really like the Protoss.
Yeah.
Well, the mothership in itself was a poorly designed unit, so...
You know, there was a patch that brought in the frenzied ability to Broodlords. I think specifically for the purpose to make them unyoinkable.
It's also unfungulable, right?
Yeah, but I don't think fungal was ever the problem with Broodlords. I think they just didn't want them to get yoinked. And then they left all the Protoss shit in.
So it looks like we're gonna have to speed this up a little bit just because it's a very long game. Of course, we start the ridiculous process of
eliminating all the bases around here.
So I think first we're going to take a look at the top left corner where we have 1 medevac moving with 4 ghosts. We're going to look at everything. Unfortunately, this is quite the thinged area.
You're going to cloak right beside all the turrets.
I didn't say I was very good at this game. So of course the Scubas are pissed because they're about to get a nuke dropped on their heads. So they go and desperately try to kill off the ghosts before this happens. However, ghosts are relatively tanky.
Considering how you cannot upgrade this infantry attack on the SCVs, as the game progresses, as the ghosts gain armor from upgrades, they do scale. Like, workers do not scale in terms of attack power at all.
Of course, Purple has no idea how those got in there.
Because, you know, he can fly, and it seems like Terran's the only race that can fly in his minds, which really isn't that much unreasonable, considering how there's a bunch of shit that only Terran can do. Like, they can trash the most effectively, they can play like a slow, methodical push style tank the most effectively, they can, a small group of guys with guns and Missile Man pretty much beat a small group of anything else in the game, so they can do that the best. They have the best thing against shields. Yeah.
So, we got, I don't know, 7 ghosts dropped into the base along with a whole bunch of nukes. Turns out that we made the discovery today that orbitals have 200 health, so 1 EMP will get rid of only half of a full orbital's health, but on the other hand, we'll get rid of all of a Nexus's energy. Oh, I didn't mean to say energy all those times. We've got some very poor micro about to get result in the loss of a lot of their units. However, HierarchARiA is not a complete law, as well, you know, partial law, because now everything is in the yellow.
It's okay. There's 2 medevacs full of energy.
The medevacs have their work cut out for them now.
Yeah, the SCV is not the only one that goes woohoo overtime.
But of course, we've got a whole bunch of nukes landing in the naturals. It is the best way to get rid of buildings. Ask anyone.
The battle cruisers might actually get just scratched by the nukes.
Moving too quickly.
Yeah. We'll keep him selected. I think, yeah, he did take some damage. He says 475 out of 550 health.
Did take some, like, not bad.
Yep.
Anyway. Probably shouldn't have wasted those nukes on those units, or those buildings, just because they were already on fire and they would have just burned to death. Anyway, so we've got Ghost.
A full energy nexus getting EMP'd down to nothing, because apparently Protoss should not macro. It's sort of a thing, Protoss being the only race designed for an RTS, in an RTS. And now the designers are like, well, we really should give Protoss the ability to trash. Why? Because everyone else is trashing. Well, can't you see that in an RTS, having a game revolved around trash is a shitty design? Nope, we need to add more trash because other races can trash.
So you've got the Purple Terran, who is at 22 out of 11 supply at the moment. Sneakiest battle cruisers around, however, with about 18 extra orbitals. You can't really sneak anything around anywhere. Anyway. What else? I think we can just speed this up. It probably just ends with the very anticlimactic
throwing of broodlings.
You stretch them like a rubber band and they'll let them go.
Yeah. Then they dance.
Yes.
And there would have been a Kest somewhere in a very, very far away place that came out of a Stargate, shooting a Kest ball across the 2 galaxies. But at this point, the Kest has been nerfed to the ground, so it will take more than a Kest. It'll probably take 10 Kests to one hit of Broodlord.
We've got a bunch of nukes going off, trying to, of course, clean up the remaining bases. Poorly aimed nukes, of course. Be surprised if it takes out.
You know, this isn't really that much of a waste of nukes, because if you're preparing for lots of it, you gotta know to kill the pylons. So those nukes did indeed hit the pylons and destroy the pylons, so if you're training to be lots of a player, then of course those nukes were worth it.
Oh yes. I noticed the Protoss units, when dented, will give off electrical sparks and stuff. I wonder why.
I don't think it's units, I think it's just buildings and the Mama ship. I know the Mama ship for sure does have that sparks.
I always find it difficult to aim. You've got a lot of EMPs going off and up the nukes frying broodlings.
Well, you know, broodlings at this point, I think broodlings at any point are essentially free. The only time you don't want to see broodlings is when they really come out of your buildings, because you don't want those.
Yeah, because it means the buildings got melted. Right, let's speed this up. All in all, it was not bad a game just because we didn't get piled and we didn't get trashed.
Yeah, which is more than we can say for most other games we play these days.
Probably due to the complete competency of both players. However, sadly, this is much better than what we normally have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still this shit up there.
Yeah. That's depressing, isn't it? Of course, we have to end the game with BM because, you know, we are
BM2GM.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.